Hello, everyone. My name's Jim Nisbet. I'm from Scotland. Welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers, where I'll be explaining a little bit about what I do today. Hope you can join us. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's installment of the International Association of Woodcarvers. I appreciate you all coming in on this Saturday afternoon to join us. We've got a special episode today coming to us from England. We're going to have on Jim Nisbet. He'll be talking to us a little bit about his carving journey and how he carves on the cheap. So we look forward to hearing from him. Before we get started, I'll tell you a little bit about some shows and things that are coming up. Don't forget about the Lancaster County Woodcarvers Show happening up there in Pennsylvania in Bob Hershey and Jim Featherland. That's on March 9th and 10th. Again, it's the Lancaster County Woodcarvers Show in Pennsylvania. If you're in that area, check it out. There's going to be 4 CCA members exhibiting up there, Applegate, Heiser, Thornton, Hershey. So if you get a chance, make sure you go by and see those guys and tell them hello. Remind you about the upcoming CCA Carving the Rockies show in September, on September 14th and 15th. They're still taking people for the classes that they're having following the show. That's on the 16th through the 18th. There are going to be 3 classes. 3 different instructors, 3 days. So if you haven't signed up for that, you're planning on going out there, make sure you go out on the CCA website, get signed up. Make sure you get signed up before they get filled up. So if you're interested in that, make sure you go out and check that out. In Charlotte on April the 26th through the 28th, there's going to be a Charlotte showcase of wood carvings. So if you're in the Charlotte area at the end of April, try to check that out. We're going to have Rod Gatlin on April the 6th. It's going to be talking about that show. So if you're in the area, I'll probably be down there for that. I think maybe Dave Levy's going to be coming down as well. So try to check that show out if at all possible. Tell you a little bit about some workshops that are coming up. Janet Cordell is going to be carving the Bashful Little Girl on March the 8th. Dave Stetson's going to start a class on March the 9th on wood carving the Man on the Floor. And on August the 3rd, Ryan Olson's going to be doing a class on wood carving handsome. If you're interested in any of those classes, reach out to the instructor and get signed up through them. They'll give you all the information as far as what you will need to be able to sign up. If you need rough outs or something like that, then they'll let you know. They'll secure your payment and go ahead and get you into the class. So make sure you reach out to them if you're interested. Dwayne Gosnell's doing a Twiddle Tuesdays class about every other week. If you're interested in that, he has the information out on his website. It's dgosnellwoodcarving.com. Make sure you check that out, as well as his rough outs that he's got out there. I also think that he has one of Dave Stetson's rough outs that he'll be teaching the class from. So you should see all that on Dwayne's page out there. All right. Having said all of that, today we've got coming to us from England. And it reminds me, this is truly an international meeting. It's the International Association of Woodcarvers for a reason. We try to reach people throughout the whole world, not necessarily just the United States and Canada, to share wood carving and encourage others. And this guy does the same thing. He tries to share wood carving and get people excited about that. But before we start with him, we're going to have our very own Dave Stetson come in and give us some words of wisdom, and then we'll turn it over to Jim. So Dave, we'll go ahead and turn it over to you now.
All right. Having said all that. So last week, Alec Lacoste was on, and I love Alex. He's a wonderful wood carver and a great guy. And I pick on him all the time. But in thinking about when someone asked a question that came across to Alec was, how did you get started in wood carving? What triggered your journey into the wood carving world? And Alex said that as a youngster, he had ADD, and his parents were always looking for something to slow him down and keep him from bouncing off the walls. And they got him a little wood carving kit, and he played with that. But more importantly than what the carving kit did for Alec was the way people responded to what he had done with that wood carving kit, that they really encouraged him and told him what a great job he had done. And it reminded me of a quote from Maya Angelou. Maya said that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And I thought, boy, that just hit the nail on the head. It was that inspiration that came from his teachers. And looking back to my years in school, I can't remember all of the teachers that I had, but it was the ones who made me feel a certain way, not always positive, but it's the ones that made me feel a certain way that I remember.
Thank you, Dave. Good information there. Thanks for sharing those each week. We appreciate it. And it's become a popular part of our meeting. So if you haven't seen those in the past, make sure you go out, check out our videos on YouTube, and you can go back and see Dave's past words of wisdom. And we're also doing some little shorts, so short clips on YouTube, and some of those short clips will be Dave's words of wisdom on there as well. So check those out. Having said all that, originally from Glasgow, Scotland, coming to us from England, go ahead and turn the meeting over to Jim. You know him by Jimmy Carves on Instagram. We look forward to hearing what you have to share with us today, Jim. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Blake. Hello, wonderful people. My name is Jim Nisbet. As Blake said, I'm from Glasgow. I now live in England. You'll probably know me on Instagram as Jimmy Carves, but those of you who know me on Facebook will know me as Havelock Veterinary. Okay, before we get into that little brief talk about my past and kind of what I've been doing in my career, basically, before we move into wood carving. So I left Scotland at a very young age. I was quite nomadic when I was very young, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Settled in Birmingham over the love of a girl, as most men usually do. And when I settled here, I kind of bumbled around doing various things, ended up in finance for a few years, and I didn't feel that that was the right fit for me, so I wanted to change career. I went and did some carpentry work. I wanted to be a carpenter. We went to the place that I wanted to learn from, really liked it there, and decided to stay on there as a volunteer because the client group that we were working with, normal people and from who weren't working at the time, all the way to young kids and adolescents who were NEET. It was the acronym at the time. It meant not in education, employment or training, which kind of boiled down to young rapscallions who were in trouble with the law, didn't go on at school and didn't really have a place in society, and also people with mental health issues. So they dealt with a broad range of people. So I volunteered my time there and ended up working there for a few years, which was really enjoyable. I got made redundant from there. And then I luckily got the chance to work in a mental health hospital. Coincidentally, the lady who had brought the service users from the hospital to the place where I worked was the same lady who knew me and said, listen, you'd be a fantastic fit working in the hospital. Bizarrely enough, please come and do an interview, which I did. I got the job, and for the last 13 years or so, I've been working in mental health in a psychiatric unit in Birmingham, which is very, well, it was very rewarding. I no longer work there, but that is another story for another time. But that is my background. How and what got me started in carving? It was a bizarre one, really. I didn't choose to be a wood carver, although I did have a passion for wood. I enjoyed building things, I enjoyed doing joinery, which that was what we taught most of the young people. Most of the people with difficulties was basic joint work, and then it was up to them later on to go ahead to proper college and do the proper course. But we kind of give them a basic introduction into woodwork. So wood carving really wasn't there for me. I never really thought about it. It wasn't a pastime in Britain that's really big like it is in America. It's still quite small over here as a hobby, really. There's lots more different things that people do as hobbies, like fishing and going to watch football and stuff. So carving never really came to me. What did come to me was archery. A few years ago, went on holiday with my family. And when we went there was those little try it out, see if you enjoy it, the archery sessions. Me and my son had a little go, found I loved it, came back to Birmingham, Joined our local archery club, and there we went out doing archery. Type of archery that I do is field archery. So we are basically pretending to be hunters. I am man, I have a bow, I have some arrows. I'm going to go out into the forest and shoot foam depictions of animals. Yeah, so they're all kind of foam, it's not real. So if anybody wants any foam to eat for the dinner, I'm your man, I can shoot some foam. So it's all good. That, however, led me out into being in the forest loads. And I loved it. I loved being out in the open, loved being in the forest, I loved being in the trees and nature. It took me away from being in a hospital environment, working with very unwell people. It was really nice to be out there and away from things. So that kind of got me away from archery in a way and more into bushcrafty things. And bushcraft really was where it all kind of started for me. I really wanted to spend more time out in the woods, so I learned everything that I could about bushcraft. And one of the main things that they teach you in bushcraft is how to start a fire and how to basically process timber and wood. So it was like, okay, then I'll do this. I went away, did a little bit of research, and I found that, okay, right, what I need is a bushcraft knife. So that was the first thing I did. I went on internet, research bushcraft knives, which ones do I need? And up came Mora. So the Mora Companion, this is a heavy duty carbon steel one. This big thing here, this is what we use, and this is what I used basically to process my woods and my timber when I was out in the forest. So I really enjoyed that for ages. It was great being out in the forest doing these things, learning how to make fires and stuff. With that came how to use a knife properly, how to sharpen it properly, how to maintain it properly, which was, unbeknownst to me, all fantastic little starters and learning projects for me to get my teeth into before I ever knew of carving, which those of you who are proper hardened carvers will know sharpening your tools is really important. So I went away, had this knife, started learning how to feather stick. Okay, fantastic. Knife control, learn how to make little feathers. That was great. How do I sharpen it though? Right, okay, I've spent loads of money on camping gear, I've spent loads of money on a tarp, on a hammock, on different various bits and bobs, a knife, I had an old axe. The wife was going to kill me if I spent any more money on bushcraft stuff. So rather than like kind of dying, I decided to go down the cheap alternate route. What do I do? How do I sharpen up all my gear? What do I need to do? Okay, so again, we're living in the modern era. What's the best thing to do? Go on the Tinterweb. So on I went to the internet, into the internet, had a look on YouTube, and I found a guy called Outdoors 55. Now, this guy is a complete nerd about metal, about steel. He's a knife maker as well. He's over, I think he's in America. He might be in Canada. I'm not too sure. But he's in the Americas anyway. And this guy knows everything about steel. So I went onto his website and I just watched him. I watched him sharpen blades. I watched him talk about what you need to sharpen blades. And basically I watched him say, actually, you don't need all the fancy tools. You don't need a workshop. You don't need, like, loads of these DMT stones, although that's what he uses. He was saying if you're wanting to get into it cheap, all you need is some sandpaper. And I was like, okay, that's a bit rough sandpaper. What are you talking about here? And he was like, oh, wet and dry sandpaper. So wet and dry paper is where I started how to learning how to sharpen my blades. I found a bit of stick, which is from an old bed. I got some 600 grit, wet and dry. I think you might call it carbide paper in America. I'm not too sure. 600 one side, 1200 the other side. And basically, I just created my own little sharpening system. And then I just went away and I learned how to sharpen, and I sharpened, and I sharpened, and I sharpened until I got the hang of it. So my blade was super sharp. I knew how to use it. It was fantastic. It was great. I learned the importance of sharp tools while I was doing bushcraft. I learned how to use the knife safely, not holding it towards you. And then I got bored. I sat at camp. done all my work. I've done all these little hook, how pot stand hangers, how to, hang up your pot, doing all these wee notches. Sat at night thinking, right, okay, done everything, fantastic. Fire's roaring. I'm happy. I'm well fed. What do I do now? Okay, right, YouTube. Here we go. So I looked on YouTube again, and then I found a man called Neil from Greencraft. I think it was. That was who he is, and he was saying exactly the same. So what do you do? What do you do when you're sat in camp and you've got nothing to do? Well, what I like to do is I like to whittle. Whittle, right, okay, what's this? So anyway, he said, oh, here's a nice simple little whittle for you to do when you're just sat at camp. It's a little bookmark. It's a little owl bookmark. So he made this little owl bookmark, and this is a piece of sycamore. And what he'd done was a little tiny stick, as you can see, that's the roundness of it. So it's probably like that thick, quarter the wood. And then basically what you do is you just create this little, very simple, cross, take a little bit off, and that acts as a bookmark. And I thought to myself, oh, that's really cool. I really enjoy that. That's excellent. What else can I make? So I went away and I made a load of these. Like, I think my daughter and my son have got about 10 each. My wife has got 18 million, and everyone else in the street has about 5 or 15. So I made a load of these, and it was very fun and very enjoyable. And I was like, right, okay, I'm a bit bored of that now. What do I want to do now? The same guy said, oh, there's a little wood spirit that you can do. And I thought, oh, wood spirit. I like wood spirits. Yeah, they're pretty cool. That's nice. I'll do this. And I seen his, bearing in mind I hadn't really looked at carving or wood carving or anything like that. I thought, oh yeah, this is cool. So he did this, and bearing in mind the owl was done with this more bushcraft knife, as was everything else. It was quite fiddly and finicky, but I persevered. And then using that, I made this. And I thought to myself at the time, oh, that's ace. That is. Look, it looks like a man. There's his eyes. There's his nose. There's his little mustache and his lip. I thought that's great. And then I looked at it and I thought, well, it's all right actually. It's kind of good. I want it a bit better than that. I want it a bit more realistic. Where can I go? Back to YouTube. And lo and behold, as anyone who goes onto YouTube and types in beginner whistling, comes up with Doug Linker, who then, for the next however many months, I gorged his videos. And I put a comment somewhere where, I've watched days of Doug Linker. It wasn't I'd watched previous consecutive days. I'd literally watched chunks of about 24 to 48 hours of just watching him from about 4 years ago all the way up to present, just watching all of his videos, thinking, wow, that's amazing. Oh, that's great. Oh, it's super cool. This is, I want to be like him. This is where I want to go. So I went away and I thought, right, okay, which video do I want? Right, okay, wood spirit. So I went and had a look for him, wood spirit. And I seen his little wood spirit, and I think might be about 4 years ago. I'm not too sure, but there's one where he carves a wood spirit out of cedar wood. And I went on, and I was really excited about watching the video. And it was him using all these crazy, weird shaped, like chisel type things. What's that? Oh, gouges. Oh, right. Oh, I was like, oh, right. Okay, I don't have a gouge. What am I going to do? I'm like, right. Okay, skip this. Right. I really want to do that face, but what do I need to do first? I need to do something else. I need to go back to the beginning. Right, what does he say? Knife only. I've only got a knife. Let's see Doug. Let's see the guru to what he has to do. So, seen that he had some little, using the knife only, lighthouses. So one of the first things then that I did after that, and this was proper whittling for me, was I started to do Doug's little lighthouses again. All I had was my Mora. All I had was this to sharpen with. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention before, a homemade strop from a bit of wood and a bit of leather that I found in some honing compounds that I got from a shop. Really cheap. Spared no expense. So anyway, jumping back into it, I made some of my first little lighthouses, which my blades, they are taller than the lighthouse, but I managed to do these. As you can tell, I'm not a painter. And the reason, I'm not a painter. So I decided to get my son to paint some, and I decided to get my daughter to paint them as well. I painted this one. It wasn't that great, but I thought I was being a smart bum by putting in little things. Oh, look, I'll put in a door. Aren't I amazing? I bet nobody's thought about putting in a door before. Yeah, no, wait until I see other people's carvings. So I did all these things, and then I did these little bits and bobs. And then I was really proud of myself because I made a little lighthouse with a cool little door, and it had the little beams on the door, and had little steps leading up to the lighthouse, and a little rocks underneath the lighthouse. And I asked my son to paint it. He'd just been studying Fauvism in primary school, and he beautifully did this. I love him. I love him for that. It's great. He's the best boy in the world. He's still locked in the cupboard, by the way. But anyway, so I made these little things, and I loved them. Excuse me. But from that, I wanted to improve. I wanted to go a little bit further. So I was like, what other things can I do? What can I do on the cheap? These, by the way, are all made from a curtain pole. An old curtain pole that I had lying in the pantry. I wasn't going to go out and buy a dowel, so I went into the pantry and used this curtain pole. And then I moved on to the little levels that Doug did. Everybody knows the little level. Everyone starts off with these little things. Everyone goes on there, painted them. Thought, yeah, these are great. These are fantastic. Do I like wood carving? Yes, this is quite good. I really like it, but I love my archery, so I'm still spending loads of money on archery, so I couldn't really justify spending lots of money on carving, so I just persevered. I decided, right, okay, I kind of like this. I like what I'm doing with this. What do I need to do now? I can't really afford wood. I can't afford to go out and get dowels all the time. I've only got a limited amount of curtain pole left. I need to do some research into what wood is good for whittling. So I went away. I decided to have a look into what was the woods, and it was basswood. What's basswood? Well, Tilia. Okay, what's Tilia in the UK? Oh, it's linden, lime. Oh, right, okay, linden, lime. Fantastic. I've got loads of it. The school my child goes to is the avenue is lined with linden. Our local parks, loads of linden. We've got loads of lime kicking around everywhere. There was one up in the park. It had been a windy day. A big branch had come off, so I went up in my car and I robbed it. I didn't rob it, I just grabbed it from the ground. So I upscaled it, upcycled it? I upcycled it. So I took it home and I started processing it, and I processed it into, as you can tell, it's quite a big branch, processed it into halves and then quarters. And then what I started doing was going back to Doug and looking at more of his videos, and it was coming up to about November time at this time, to 2022, and he started doing his little snowmen. This was my first foray into a face, proper faces, where I thought, oh yeah, it kind of looks like a face. And I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. And I made this, and I was going around to everyone. I was going to talk, check me out. Check this out. I've just made this. Yeah, it was me. This was. I made it, and I painted it. I did everything myself. Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm looking at Doug's, and I'm thinking, well, I hope nobody watches Doug's, because, if he sees that, he'll see how much of a fraud I am. But anyway, I love these little things, and I continued to make them, and I made some more, and I made some more, and I, then decided to get creative and make my own little Rudolph. And I thought, oh right, okay, I'll just get a little cartoon picture and try and copy it, which I did, and I loved it, and it was really great. Now it was coming up to, like I said, it was the end of November time, and that was it. I realised, okay, yeah, do you know what? I want to kind of do this a little bit more. I want to make this a bit serious. And that Doug Linker mountain man that I really wanted to do, could you possibly get me for Christmas and my birthday, because you've been nagging me what I want for Christmas and birthday, could you get me a knife and a cheap set of carving chisels? What do you want? I was like, I don't know, go away. you do the research. I'll be happy with whatever you get me. So she went away and she was saying, right, okay, I've chosen your set of chisels, I've chosen your knife, so don't worry, you've got until Christmas, but you have to wait until Christmas until you can use it again. So if you still like this, I want to see that you like this. You know, I don't want it to be some sort of hobby that I buy you loads of stuff for and then you just like peter out and you don't want to do it anymore. So I was like, yeah, no, don't worry, I will, I'll do it, I'll do loads. So I went away and I just kept on carving little bits, the little Santas basically. I made loads of these and I realised really, really quickly that using that to make these little Santas, well, it's doable, it's achievable. You could absolutely do this with this £20 knife, if even. It's very achievable to make these with this easy and some acrylic paints that you get from the local kind of hardware store. I think they cost me about £5 for a big packet, nothing at all. Watered down, applied it, just like Doug Linker says. You can do it on the cheap, but I wanted a little bit more intricacy. I'm starting to become a little bit more intrigued by the possibilities of what carving can do. What can we do with it? Let's find out. Let's kind of move on. Where do I go? Can't spend any money. I need to keep it cheap. Wife will kill me if I like spend any money. She's already buying me a carving set, a nice whittling knife, proper carving knife, and she's buying me a chisel set, so I cannot spend anything. What's the cheapest but best knife that I can buy, which isn't the Mora, which is good for whittling? Online again, and up came the Opinel, little French knife. Now, this little thing is absolutely razor sharp, little folding knife, 3 inches long. So razor sharp. When I started cutting and using this, I was like, wow, that more is blunt. But it wasn't. It's just the profile of it. It's just thin. It's really thin. So it just slices through wood, especially basswood, like absolutely nothing. Just comes through it really nice, really easily. It's beautiful. So I used this for a lot of things, and I started getting into lots of different little faces and things and trying to carve other little things, and other little wood spirits with the Opinel, which I wasn't very good. I'd kind of been watching some little bits on YouTube with of Alec Lacasse, but not very much. I was trying to get little eyes in there and stuff, you know, but this was a lot better. Anyway, along came Christmas and along came my new present from my beautiful wife, and that consisted of a set of Narek Start chisels. Not very expensive, quite cheap. If someone's going to buy you them for a Christmas present, definitely buy them. I'll let them buy them to you. Would I buy them if I had the chance to go back and buy them myself? Maybe not. But do they work? Absolutely fine. Have I went out and bought another chisel set? No, I haven't. You know, but it takes me a little bit longer to maintain them. However, they do work, and that's the thing. So along with this Narek chisel set, as you can see, really expensive, high-end protectors. You need these, £100 each they are from my shop. So yeah, these little things are fantastic. That little skew is what I've used most, alongside this Ray Isles whittling knife. Now, I've seen the Helvies. I've seen all these beautifully made, beautifully handcrafted knives. Fantastic. This is more like a bench knife, but do you know what? The steel on this is absolutely fantastic. This is mirror finish, absolutely holds an edge like nobody's business. I've cut down 19 forests with this before I've had to sharpen it. It's amazing. It's really good. That's the other thing that I mostly use. So I will use this skew and a V-tool, which is the same one, which isn't even a proper V. It's a soft V, if you can see it there. So it's like, you know, it's rounded. It's not the proper hard edge V. So if I want a hard edge V, what I have to do is use my skew and go up, make 2 cuts, or use this and then go into it with my skew at the end. So anyway, the Narek start chisel set was really good alongside the Rayos kind of set. But alongside that, I got a bit of basswood as well. Now, when I got that, I really started looking into carving a little bit more things because I had a little chisel set at the start. I thought, oh no, I can't do anything because I haven't got the right tools. I need this and I need that, and I need to, like, you know, this 3mm Vil, I need the Helvy knife, and I need a, like, you know, file set, like chisel set, or else I'll be no good. And that's not the case, guys. The case is get something sharp, get a bit of wood, and you'll be able to carve it. If you can't carve it, your knife's not probably sharp, go learn to sharpen. Once you've done that, go back to it and you'll find carving things is really easy. It's really nice. Learn how to sharpen. Once you've learned how to sharpen, carving wood is relatively easy. I think I've seen a question about, did I need to sharpen this Ray Isles knife? Out of the box, no, this thing was absolutely razor sharp when it came to me. Again, yeah, it used to cut the sentences. That's how sharp it was, and still is. The Narex, I was lucky because I'd learned how to sharpen previously, like I mentioned, with my bushcraft skills. So it was an easy transition to learn how to sharpen gouges. A bit of a look on YouTube, but it's easy to find out. Those ones, yeah, I did have to sharpen. They weren't good. They weren't good out of the box whatsoever. They were a bit blunt, they were a bit chipped, they were uneven. I needed to go down flats and flatten some of them out and then regrind it back to a finish again. It took me a little while, but again, it's a good learning curve. If I know how to do that, then I'm all right, I'm set up. I don't need to go to anyone else, try and sharpen my chisels or tools, and I can enjoy my carving. You know, for me, carving should be an enjoyable process. If you're spending all your time there, like, you know, having to, like, you know, fight the wood, battle the wood because your tools aren't sharp enough, because you don't have those skills, then you're not going to want to do it. You'll just say, oh, do you know what, I'd rather go watch something, or pick my nose, or I don't know, play with my bum. Who knows what you'll do, but that is not a pleasant experience. And just as a little bit of a digression, something Alec did and then I did later on, and this isn't even about blunt tools, this is about an unenjoyable experience. I made this walking hiking stick for a friend of mine, archery. This is hazel. Made these, my knives were razor sharp. I carved this and it took me an age, and it was horrible, to the point that my best pal wants a hiking stick and I haven't even attempted it yet because I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to do it. It's so horrible. So yeah, carving being an enjoyable experience is very important. Sharp tools, absolutely doubly so. Finding the right wood to carve, that's important as well. Anyway, I digress there. So let me just check my little things where I was. Right, okay. So yes, let me see. I went to Doug, found out about that. I wanted to go get wood. I found out about wood. I found out about the genus of it, where to get it, how to source it. Luckily for me, it's everywhere. So I just need to wait for a bit of a storm, some fallen branches, and I've got some wood, fallen branches, more basswood, and I've got a load out the back as well. That's from a storm that happened a few weeks ago now. Wood, another digression here, everyone. Most beginner things that I see in Facebook, where do you source your wood from? There's trees in the planet, man. They're kind of woody and they give wood. Moving on. Yes, that's where I get my wood. Trees. I do archery. I'm in the forest all the time. I've got access to trees. go pick up some trees, go pick up some wood, season it, get it. This is rather heavy, by the way. This is some silver birch, which I can get from my forest. This we'll be talking about later. This is what I'm planning on working on now. Well, at the end, you know, and tomorrow, next few days, next few weeks. Anyway, right, let's get back to it. Okay, so Christmas came, Christmas went, and I got all my tools, and I absolutely loved them, and I wanted to progress. I went back. Now I'm going to try and find some photographs here of what I wanted to do. So just please bear with me. Like I was saying, there was Doug's did his wood spirit basically ages and ages ago, and that was the one that I really wanted to emulate. So again, I waited until I'd got my tools, and then I wanted to basically make this wood spirit, and I did it. So that was it there. I was so proud of this, and this was from a bit of basswood that I'd found and sourced. This was the end. So if you look up at the top, that's where it come off. All those bits of wood that you've seen me kind of showing you before, that's all from this branch. So I'd made this, and this is my first proper attempt into a wood spirit, all from Doug Linker, his little cedar branch that he now states that he really doesn't like. He doesn't like it, but it's got loads of views. The reason why it's got loads of views, Doug, because it's ace. So I did that. That's it in a bit of a different light. So that was it. That was me. That was my first start into a proper face. And that was it. I absolutely loved it. I thought to myself, wow, this is something else. This is amazing. So I started watching loads of Doug. And the more of Doug I watched, he then mentioned Alec Lacasse. And I went over to Alec. And I started watching his stuff. And then I just thought, right. Okay. This is something else. That is what I want to do. I love my little guys. I love making the little caricatures of these. I loved making that, but I am rubbish at caricature. I'm rubbish at it. I've got the imagination of a brick. It's just one of those things. I can copy things, but I cannot imagine things and then draw them. Some people, like Blake, there you go, when you look at his things, it's, oh yeah, you've created that, and Dave, his little lady and stuff, yeah, man, that's cool. How come you drew that and you've made it? Oh, fantastic. Me, I haven't got those skills. That's okay, I'm all right with that. I can copy things. So I've seen Alec and I was like, right, okay, that's something I can do, because he just uses photographs and things, and he's going for realism, which he calls naturalism, which is naturalism, but I call it realism. So away I went, and I started watching Alec. And then one of the first things that I've seen in Alec was making a little kind of, not a wood spirit, but it was kind of timey spirit type guy. Now this was from a bit of basswood that I got with that Narek Start chisel set. I absolutely loved this, and I was very proud of myself. I thought, oh, wow, yeah, this is it. This is the way that I want to go. I love the fact that you didn't have to carve in eyes. There were just slots in there, you know, so it worked really well. So I started doing them, and then I just practiced. I had loads of timber, so I just kind of kept on making them. I wanted to try and go for a guy yawning. My wife says he looks like a stroke victim. Yeah, but anyway, so I just practiced and practiced. And then I started practicing a little bit more, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm actually starting to kind of get somewhere here. I'm liking these. And then started painting a little bit more and becoming a little bit more confident in my painting abilities. So I was enjoying these little guys, and these were fantastic. But what Alex, as everybody knows, his main things are the faces, the human form, the human face. So I thought to myself, oh, that's good. That's really good. Right, okay, I'll watch YouTube. Let's see what he does. Watch this bark. Oh, right, cottonwood bark. All right, here we go. Right, so again, YouTube. Looked up on the internet, looked up where I can find cottonwood bark from America. Way cool. Right, how much is shipping? Oh my goodness. Anna, do we have any other children that we can put up for adoption or sale? No. My wife said I have no other children that I could put up for adoption or sale to make some money. So I had to give up the cottonwood bark route and think, well, how else am I going to make these faces? One day, very coincidentally, shortly afterwards, I was out walking in the park with my wife, and I seen some fantastically big bark coming from on this tree that was dead. It was already dead, and I thought to myself, oh, it's like that cottonwood bark. Anna, in 2 seconds, runs over, finds this bark, and I had a look and, I brought it home and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, right, okay, I need to find out what cottonwood bark is. I need to see exactly what it is. So I searched up for it. I looked at it. I found out there was a poplar tree and things. So I went and did my research. Is there any poplar trees over here in Birmingham? Yes, there is. There's quite a few. Not that many, but there's a few in Highbury Park, which was the park or the back garden of Joseph Chamberlain and a little known guy called George Cadbury, the chocolate guy. So their back garden was an arboretum that they planted back when they were rich in the Industrial Revolution. The trees had grown, some of the trees had died. They just happened to be hybrid cottonwood bark trees. And I had a load of cottonwood bark. So I went away. And it isn't the stuff that you get in America, it's a hybrid, but it's good, it's big, it's not as thick. This stuff's been out. So what are we talking about? Maybe about an inch thick or something. That's the thin bit. But I've got a big bag of it. So I managed to collect a load of it. From that, started carving little faces into bark. Now, the first thing I seen, obviously, was the wood spirit. So my first wood spirit in the bark that I found was this guy here. Now, this was done from one of Alex's YouTube videos rather than his online school. And that, to me, I was quite pleased with the realism. The nose is big. There's no pupils in the eyes, but it was my first proper kind of like realistic face. I didn't know how to do hair. Didn't know how to do hair. Didn't know how to do beards properly or anything apart from the kind of stylized whittled ones. This, he kind of, I think he put on some leaves on his, I can't quite remember, but I did a couple of leaves and this was there. And I thought to myself, yeah, I like that. That's nice. This is the way that I want to go. So after I did that, I went away and I just practiced. And I practiced. Now, this is really important, I think, for people who are beginners and newbies into wood carving. I don't think that I would be as good as I am or had the practice that I had if it wasn't for going out and doing a bit of work and a bit of research and finding free stuff. Now, when you're spending your hard-earned cash on blocks of basswood, no matter which source they're from, Amazon, Jeff, your Auntie Sue, whoever it is, wherever you get that from, if you've paid money for it, then it's inherent in us that we don't want to mess that up. We've just spent money on this. I've got to try and make this look beautiful. If I mess it up, it can be quite harmful or detrimental to your brain, to the way that you're looking at the piece of wood. I've just wasted money on this. It's no longer enjoyable. Go back to, we need to make this enjoyable. This is free. I found this. I'm not bothered if it turns out rubbish. I don't care if it turns out rubbish. Why? Because it's free. I can throw it away. I can go out into the woods and I can get another piece. So that gives me the freedom to do that, to practice, to get a little bit of wood, which could have been 3 nice little, gnomes or whatever, or little faces. I'm not bothered. I can practice. I can practice on the little faces whenever I want to. I can practice some more. Just keep on going. Keep on practicing. That was one of my first attempts without anything. That kind of little female face, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll try that. Oh. But again, it's that thing of, if you're not scared about losing anything, you're more prepared to try and continuously go and keep on practicing those little things that you're scared of and that you might be not very good at. So on that, guys, I kept on with a little bits of whittling. And then I started doing my own little things with my bark carving. So I wanted to do a feather, and I was into my archery, so I wanted to do a little archery hat. So this was from one of Alex's proportional kind of videos on YouTube, just about how to kind of do a face. So I thought I'd incorporate that. I drew a picture of a hat, tried to do a little feather, and then put in some little collars onto him. He's not proportional. His eyes are bulging. His lips aren't right. Everything's wrong about him. But I was really happy. It was great. He was mine. I made him. So again, it was that thing. Okay, I want to learn something new. I'll incorporate a little bit. I want to do a feather. I want to do a hat. So I'll incorporate that into my face. I'm consolidating my learning from my face, plus I'm adding to it. Consolidate your learning, add to it, and then the next one, hopefully you've learnt that, and you've learnt that, and then you can move on to the next thing, if that makes sense. So I did a few of these. I've gave a few away to my friends and things, but I just continued on that guise of doing faces, and I then joined Alec Lacassi's online school, and that for me was where it kind of ramped up for me, because I learned loads of stuff that I didn't know about. I learned loads of stuff that I did know about as well. Now, I think one of the good things that Alec has kind of speaks about is obviously proportions and how how everything works in the face and whatnot. He kind of talks about shapes and things as well, and that's something that I understood from when I liked to sketch. So a few years ago, I do some sketching where I could. Let me see, I'm just trying to get some sketches for you just now. But when you're sketching, it's all about understanding the difference between the light and the shadow. So this was one of a little unknown rock star. Some people might know him, some people might not. But that was one I did ages ago. And I really wanted to get that natural look of the of the shot and things. So that was that. Light and dark, all about understanding how the light falls on and the darkness kind of behaves, was really helpful for me in understanding how to carve. It's the same thing but different. When you're sketching, you have to add more material to create that depth, whereas in carving, you remove that material to create that depth. But it was all about understanding realism and how actually, when I'm there drawing that hand, I'm not drawing a hand, I'm drawing a square, a load of little pointy bits, a little wiggly bit here, a little wiggly bit there. I'm not looking for the shape of a hand or a fingernail. I'm just looking at the shadow, the light and the dark, the way that the light behaves and bounces off things. So that was already in my head when I then joined Alec's school. And it just blew me away, really. Like watching some of the stuff that Alec creates, and I was like, right, I'm never going to ever get to that level, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try my hardest, and I'm going to listen to what he says. Lesson number 2 or whatever, listen to what people say. I think sometimes people don't really listen to what people are saying. They're watching and they're kind of hearing the words, but they're trying to formulate what they're going to say if they're in a conversation, or they're trying to understand what that person's saying before they finish saying what it is that they're trying to say. But I sat there and I watched Alec, sorry. I was there, I was watching, and I watched, and I watched, and I watched, and I listened, and I learned. And he said, go away and find photographs. So I went away and I found a photograph. And I think this was my second guy, I think, from a photograph. My first little guy was this little guy. who's a surprised little guy. Now, I learned loads from Alex's class, and it was amazing. I learned proportion, I learned about the eyes, I learned about how to use different techniques to create different ways of depth. You know,
I'm okay. Huh? I'm okay.
Okay, so yeah, it was great. But I did this and I made these pieces here with nothing more than maybe 3 or 4 tools. I didn't have anything smaller than, I didn't have anything smaller than, I think it's a 4.5 V-gouge. Anything else, any intricate details was done with this. So most of the beard was done with this. The eyes, this, the wrinkles. It was all done with a skew because I didn't have the right tools. And again, that's the thing. You don't need to go out and buy a load of tools to be a good carver. What you need is a bit of practice, a bit of dedication, and just tenacity. Yeah, this will do the exact same as this, which is my smallest and my only tiny V-gouge. Now, this is an Ashley Isles. It says it's a 3mm V-gouge. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, but it's tiny. Okay, cracking little gouge. Fantastic steel on this. But again, this is my smallest one that I have, and I didn't have that until fairly recently. You don't need all the tools. You just need a reference point, shall we say. So yeah, happy guy, little surprise guy. As you can probably tell, I didn't want to just kind of do the normal faces, although those are easy. I kind of wanted to try and bring some expression into them, which I think kind of worked. You know, I was quite proud of them and stuff. That they're quite nice. Although this guy here, again, I didn't have anything small enough. Even my open L wouldn't go into those eyes, so I just had to kind of colour them with a little bit of pencil. But I'm not bothered. It's fine. How I mount them, again, a couple of little brass screws, picture wire, hang them up on the wall. They're really nice. They go up really nice, just hung up in the wall. So again, what time are we on? I just need to check. Sure, yeah, we're okay for time. So I did these little guys and I loved them. And I thought, oh yeah, they're really cool. But you know, I wasn't happy with the beard. I wasn't happy with the beard. It didn't look right. It wasn't. Although it was kind of okay for the picture. That was okay for the picture. It didn't feel right. So what do I do? Like I did at any other time, go away and research, go away and look, practice on my hair. And practice I did. And I did some other work. Some of it's on screens, but I can't be bothered to keep on coming back and forward. So I tried to practice my hair on another piece. One of my nicest pieces. Well, I like them a lot. But I mounted them on slate. So this was a piece then. After I'd done the first couple of pieces, I really wasn't happy with hair and the way that it came. I did a little bit of research and I went away and I thought and I looked about how people do hair and how they do it. And I looked at Alec and I looked at some other people and they mentioned different techniques. So I thought, do you know what? I'll try these different techniques. I was lucky with the shape of the wood that I had. It naturally came off here just to make this beautiful, beautiful little flowing beard and mustache. I was like, yes, thank you, tree. You knew what I wanted. But this is how the wood came. Now, as a little side note to what Dave was saying in his words of wisdom about a month ago about AI technology, this was actually created by with an AI image, from an AI image, shall we say. A friend of mine sent me a black and white AI image of this man here. said, "Here, Jim, I think this would be good for you. Why don't you carve him?" And I thought, "Oh yeah, this is really good." So it's a bit. I like it. I like the fact that AI has been used at the moment to create images and to kind of con people into that it's woodworking or wood carvers that's doing it. So now I'm taking it back from them. I'm taking your AI image and I'm going to actually create something like a wood carving. What are you going to do now? So yeah, so this is what I did. And the beard, I was chuffed with. I was happy with that. There's some nice little bits, some nice little flowy bits in there, and it was cool. The hair up here, I wasn't too happy about it. But if you looked at the photograph, my reference photo, which was a marble statue of some Greek guy on a horse doing this and with a big beard and his hair was flowing, it kind of looked like that. But it didn't come off as well in the woods, so it was a bit of a hit and miss. I like it. Some people like it. There's some nice little bits in there where it's folded over and curling under and coming behind each other. It's all right, it's good. It's grand, it's cracking. I like it. But for me, I wanted better. I wanted something which was hair. So you'd look at it and you go, "Oh my God, that looks like hair." It doesn't look like wood, it looks like hair. But anyway, this was my moving on step. I was most proud of this piece. I was really chuffed with it. I especially loved the mounting on the bark. Now, it doesn't need to stay mounted on the bark, it just comes off like that. But again, this whole mounting on the bark added a new thing that I needed to learn how to work with slates and things. But I went away, found out how to do it, and I did it. This is all free as well. So this and this, technically speaking, is because of the Industrial Revolution in Birmingham. This bark comes from a tree planted by the people who started the Industrial Revolution in Birmingham, like with basically Joseph Chamberlain did a lot of work for it, and so did George Cadbury. This slates from Welsh slate mines, and these were used to roof the houses of the workers who worked in all the factories and industry in Birmingham at that time. So I love it for the fact that I put it together, and it's a part of Birmingham history as well. This is Birmingham, but what I've got is something beautiful and creative and artistic. I think, I like it. I didn't think I'd be a pretentious art boy, but I kind of am, I think. But anyway, I'll take it. So yeah, so I made that, and I was really happy, and I was pleased. And yeah, it was great. I loved it. I enjoyed the bark carving. What else did I make? I think I'd made this little Native American as well before. One of my first thoughts, I thought or assumed that it was going to be a commission piece, was for a Native American. So I went away. This wood, it's extremely rare. It's called sofa wood. And you find this by dismantling your old sofa and taking the wood that's inside it. Very rare. Make sure your wife doesn't find you. So I did little practices. I would always be practicing in woods and stuff. So I did a little whittle of this Native American black elk. It was, it was not too bad. So I did this, told the guy the price. I'd already started working on the piece and everything, told him the price. And he said, "No, I don't want it. It's too expensive for me." So if you're looking to sell your wood carving, definitely try and get a deposit first, or make sure the client understands the price before you start working on it. But I made this guy, and this was from one of Alex's actual lessons of him carving black elk. I used a reference photograph for it. If you look at it, he's kind of in the sun. It's quite old, so his eyes squinting, and it's closed. And that's what I tried to emulate. I was really fortunate with the crack in the wood. It gives a nice, I don't know what the word is, but a nice something arty that kind of relates to the fact that it's so fragile, the fragility, shall we say, of the wood and the fragility of the Native American people and everything that went through it, and the fact that it just kind of looks like a tear. It all worked really well. But this guy, yeah, I loved him as well. And as you can see, they're not very thick. I cannot get thick woods, so I need to do a bit of I don't know, there was an artist on here a little while ago. Well, there's an artist who done really, really thin work. I can't remember his name. It's tiny. Look at it that way. It's beautiful and it's really thin. But I kind of need to go for a mixture of detail and depth, but make sure that actually I can't go too far because I haven't got the depth. So yeah, Native American guy, I've done him as well. These are all finished. These ones are finished in mineral oil and a beeswax mix that I made myself. Mineral oil, very expensive online. It is quite expensive, but if you look what mineral oil is, that's what mineral oil is. It's baby oil. Yeah, unscented baby oil. This is what this is. This is food grade. So you can actually use this on spoons, bowls, whatever, because it's absolutely fine. But I used this. I got some wax, melted them down together, beeswax, natural beeswax, and I made my own paste. I didn't want to spend any money on Howard's Feed and Wax, which was £13 a bottle, and then extra for shipping. So I made my own. I need to get some carnauba oil, carnauba wax to put into that, and then it'll be exactly like Howard's Feed and Wax. But anyway, so there, did him. Moving on, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? I want to create females. I had already created a side profile of a female, but I want to do a front profile. So again, one of Alex's class, but this is my own reference photograph. But it's a mixture, a meld of something that Alec did. And it was this little lady. I don't know if you can see her. Yeah, there we go. So it was one of my first flowers that I'd done. It was okay, not too bad. She's all right. She's okay. She's handsome enough. She's pretty enough. Turn out all the lights. Maybe have a few beers. Should be good, But yeah, I wanted to do more of a kind of like setting. All my pieces were just the face, basically. So I wanted to be more set in. So I've got the flowers up the top, few leaves around the side. Again, working on hair. So I tried to make that hair better. Tried to get the proportions of her face right. But as you can see at the back, I didn't have the depth for the wood. So I ended up, there's gaps there where her neck could be, obviously, yeah, because her neck would be going right back. But that was it. It was a good little practice as well on leaves like that. So if you can say, where were my first leaves to then what I was doing a little while later. Yeah. Practice. I've never done those leaves before, so I went out the back garden, got some leaves, brought them in, and started carving them. Nice and simple. This was a kind of branch. It extends all the way up the top. If you go into my Instagram, I know it's getting time, so I won't bother searching for photographs. This was a bud at the start because what I wanted was a bud at the bottom, the flower at the top, kind of showing a progression of womanhood into the top, but it didn't really work out. But anyway, so I made her quite happy. She was one of the last bark carvings that I did. I then got asked to make a commission for a lovely gentleman whose father had unfortunately died, unfortunately passed on. He was a boxing, what was he? He was like a boxing coach, basically. So the man in question had asked me to, he'd asked me to basically make this carving. And this was my very first proper paid commission piece. Now I will, let's see, take these, try and go through these as quickly as possible. Skip that, and skip to the end. Right. Okay, so I'll try and go through these quickly, guys, because I know that we're running on time. So I'd started with the cottonwood bark, and obviously I kind of kept on going. This was the progression. There where you can see this being set, guys, that's where I work. Sit on a chair, sit by the window, with a bit of wood in my lap, and I carve. That was the guy's photograph, and that was the only photograph really that I had to go by. that was zoomed in loads and it was extremely hard to see. But I persevered, kind of kept on going, little bits and bobs. I liked putting little bits of detail near the beginning so I can see what I'm doing. But anyway, cracking on, moving on. Yeah, it was kind of coming on there now. The client had wanted some boxing gloves in. So these were the first time that I'd ever attempted any boxing gloves or anything like that. So I put these boxing gloves in. I was quite pleased with the leather look on those boxing gloves, as you can see. I was chuffed with those. I was pleased with how they came out. The client was very happy with it as well. That was it. After I had kind of sealed it and finished it, I hadn't removed the top yet, though. And there he is. And the slates, because he wanted them mounted on slate. So that was a piece that I'd done for my client, and he loved it. And that was my last kind of bark carving that I've done. I've been milling around with other things and little bits and bobs because I want to move on to bigger, more sculptural work very quickly. I had met a man met me by the name of Ian Edwards, who is a fantastic sculptor, proper sculptor. And he approached me when I was doing archery, because he's also an archer, and that's where I met him. He's seen my first woman side profile, and he gave me loads of compliments, loads of encouragement. I went down to meet him down in his absolutely massive house in just past London, and seen his sculptures, and he's fantastic. And he said to me that he used to do wood carving, and he used to judge it as well when he was a younger man. And he was the one that had said to me, "You're very good. You've got a bit of talent. Crack on. Keep on doing this." Alec has mentioned the same as well. And if it wasn't for those two guys and stuff, and Doug, we've got Doug, Alec Lacasse, and Ian Edwards. Those three people have been invaluable for my carving career. And Ian, very much so, because he's given me the encouragement and some books to read that's made me kind of continue wanting to do this, because I'm sure some of you might know that feeling, that imposter syndrome, where you're thinking, this isn't me. I do not, why am I doing this? I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not a carver. There's other carvers who've been doing this all their life. Show their work, don't show my work. But he'd said to me and showed me a fantastic book by Rick Rubin's, The Creative Self. It kind of says, listen, we're all creative. If you've got something, a talent that you're good at, go for it, do it. Do not let your own mind stop you from doing that thing that you love to do. And that often is the thing, isn't it? It's that fear of rejection, fear of the inability, not being able to do it, and perhaps fear that, you might not like it. Anything, your own mind can play tricks on you. I think the important thing is to not let your mind win. Let your mind win if it's the positive side. Don't let that negative side win. I am still struggling with the fact that people say to me that you're a really good carver. It still makes me feel a bit weird. But I'm accepting the fact that it's something that I love, it's something I want to do, and it's something I will continue to do for as long as I can. I want to be, and this isn't sounding arrogant in any way, but it's a goal of mine and something I really want to achieve. I want to be not the best, but I want to be known in Britain as a face carver. Like when you say Alec Lacasse, people think, oh yeah. When you say, Doug, when you say Blake, when you say certain names, Jean Messer, when you say certain people's names, Lucas, Cost, you think, oh, yeah, that's some quality stuff. I would like my name to be up there at one stage, one day in the future, when I'm an older man, when I've done my time. I would like that. But that takes dedication and hard work and practice. But I'm willing to do it. And you guys as well, anybody watching, should be willing to do that as well. You should embrace that and relish that challenge of doing something new. Go out, get a new skill, banging the table, go out, find a new skill, find a new hobby, embrace it, take it for everything that you can and love it, love life. You know, life is very, very short. You might as well be doing something that you love whilst you're in here. Okay, so moving on very quickly, what am I moving into? What am I doing? Bigger stuff, like I said, I've got that big bit of wood down there. But again, more practice. This is my latest little thing that I put on Instagram. And again, it's just about practicing on forms. Little female face, she's okay. Practicing on the hair that I wanted to do. But I wanted to practice on cloth. So that was my first attempt, a kind of drapery cloth type thing. Not too bad, not too shabby. Yours for £18 million, £562,000. Thank you. Okay, that's been me, guys. I've got nothing else to say. Is there any questions anyone would like to ask me about anything? Or are you all gagging for a cup of tea, coffee, whatever your respective drink is?
And Jim, it looks like Keith Shoemaker has his hand up. Does he have a question?
Hi, Jimmy. Thanks for taking my question. How many Alec Lacoste classes have you taken?
Okay, well, I haven't actually taken any in-house classes. It's just his online school. Okay. So that's available. You can get a week's free trial anyway if you just want to go check that out. But I've been, I'd say maybe about 6 months, maybe 6-8 months. I watched a load of his videos at the start, and I've kind of branched off, to be fair, because I'm doing more carving rather than watching now. But for me, I think it's £22 a month, which really anything, to be fair, especially for the knowledge that I've got. But again, it's all about the practice.
Exactly. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Anything else? Sorry. I started less than a year and a half ago. This guy, my very first kind of wood carving and cottonwood bark, like what I would class as like, you know, carving properly, was started on the 28th of March last year. And I finished it on the 28th of April. That's what's time stamped on my little photographs. So yeah, about a year and a half, something like that. But intensive carving.
Jim, you've done the best job I've ever heard of promoting another carver, and that being Alex. I would guess that there are going to be a lot of people checking it out now.
Well, again, listen, guys, there's everyone out there has got something to give. Alec just happens to be the guy who I went to, and I'm sure there's other carvers out there who have lots to offer as well. I know that a lot of people start with Doug. Sharon My Art is someone who I started with as well, to be fair. I didn't mention her. I did this very early on as well, which was a Sharon My Art head and a kind of Doug body. But yeah, there are lots of people. Alec is just someone who I happened to find agreed with me. You might find another carver out there who agrees with you better, and you might kind of warm to them better. But again, everyone's individual, aren't they? Each to their own. That's okay. But yeah, I do like Alec. He's a good lad. Damn him for being such a good artist.
Listen, so you found that tree that had the bark. Have you found others?
Yeah, there is another one in my other local park. Unfortunately, that's not dead yet. So that's still living, but the bark on that's fantastic. I have got a photograph of that, and it's it's looking nice. However, I'm not shocked. I'm definitely, there's another bag in my pantry. I've got that. The filled with loads and loads and loads of bark. You know, enough to keep me going anyway. I am very happy to sell my work, but I'm not bothered. You know, I'm happy to carve. I'm carving because I want to carve, because I love it, because I want to create something perfect. not because I necessarily want to make loads of money, but that would be nice. Thank you.
If
What
I
other
was
question,
a living tree, I would worry.
Sorry?
If I was a living tree, I'd be worried.
Yeah. But no. I wouldn't cut down the living trees. Like, he's still there. But I do go to it every day and speak very negatively towards it. Oh, look at you just standing there. Aren't you dead yet? Are you not dead yet? But yeah, nothing's happening. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try and change my technique, I think. But anyway, yeah.
And Jimmy, Mike Nolan has his hand up. I think he has a question.
Hey, Jimmy. Nice presentation. You do some real nice work there. I'm curious, are there a lot of, or are there any carving clubs in your area? Are you in a rural area or urban or?
Okay, so yeah, Timmy Yusuf was on a little while ago. He's a fantastic little whittler carver as well of caricature stuff. I think he mentioned there's not that much over here. There's not that big a thing in Britain for whittling and carving. There is a carving club near me. However, it's for pensioners, so it's for people who are retired, and also it's, even if I could go, it's on one of the nights that I have to look after my children and take her to like swimming and things, so I wouldn't be able to go anyway. But no, there isn't really that much in Britain, hence why I've still got loads of stuff, and why we don't have any competitions or any kind of like carving places where you can go and show your work that often. There might be, again, I'm only a year and a half into it, but nothing that I've found, which is a shame. It'd be nice to have that community where you can see other people. Where I am based now is I'm in a city, but I'm on the outskirts, so I'm almost on the green belt of Birmingham, which is England's second city, basically. So next biggest city next to London.
Well, you can start a club. I started one here near me because the closest one at the time was about 20 miles away, and I didn't want to have to drive that far in the winter in bad weather. So I started a club, and it's grown slowly, but we've got about a dozen pretty dedicated members now that show
that's
up.
fantastic. Yeah, that sounds good.
Good.
Yeah, it's good that you managed to do that and stuff. Did you find it difficult starting it up, or did you find it quite an easy thing?
No, but it's funny because it grows in stages, because I had 3 or 4 people that wanted to take part initially, and it just stayed at that for a while. But I talked to people, and I encouraged the other members to talk to people, and every once in a while, we'd do a show somewhere at the fair or something and put out little flyers and say, hey, come check out our club. And yeah, every once in a while we'd pick up 1 or 2, and this year we had 3 people join right about the same time. It just kind of goes in spurts.
Yeah.
But we've probably got 15 members, but like I say, 10 or 12 that show up regularly. And one of the nice things is I don't have to be there every week now. If I have something going on, and the club will still continue. But it's a great resource, and it's a nice way to bounce ideas off of each other and that. So
yeah, no, fantastic idea. Yeah, thank you for that. I think it's something that I don't know. I don't know whether or not at the moment it's something that I would have time for. My children are 10 and 9 at the moment, so they're still quite young. And yeah, I've got my carving, got work where I need to do, my wife and things. I don't know if it's something that I would have the time to do yet. However, it is definitely something that I think in the future that I would like to do. Training and tutoring people and getting that out there is a fantastic, it's fantastic, really. I like other people learning new skills as well. So yeah, thank you for that information. Yeah, that's really
I'm not saying online isn't great. You got guys like Dave Stetson and a lot of the ones you mentioned, all you guys, some great carvers to learn from. But it's just another way to kind of keep the momentum going. Keep yourself and others interested in that, and little camaraderie always is nice. So.
Absolutely.
I'll shut up now. Thanks for.
No, please, no. It's been great. Thank you. It's been lovely chatting to you. It's been excellent.
Come see us in the States sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep on telling Alec, because obviously he's rich and stuff. He must be like, you know, all his work and stuff. Just buy me a plane ticket. But he's very selfish. He doesn't want to buy me a plane ticket for me. I don't know why. It's not that expensive, I can imagine. But anyway,
Well, I'll
yeah.
put in a word for you when I talk to him next time I see him.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, it'd be something that I would really enjoy doing. In fact, coming over and seeing you guys and things. Yeah, seen some of the big fairs that you guys have over there. Well, it's a massive, huge room filled with nothing but carvers. But yeah, we don't get that over here, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah, that's
Blake
good.
said
Good
you can
idea.
stay with him too. Did you say that, Blake?
Yeah, he can
It's
definitely
fine.
come here.
Yeah, man. I'll take Haley's room. She's gone anyway, isn't she? I'll just move
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
Redecorate it. I hope if she's watching, I'm going to redecorate your room, Haley, and take down all your posters. And I'm making myself at home, thanking you.
She would like that. That'd probably be good.
Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you. Cool.
Hey Jimmy, we're at 20 after 4. Real quick, any other questions in the group? Okay.
Cool.
Just want to say thank you for coming on. This has been a fantastic meeting. Very fascinating. Love to hear the progress, the process from start to finish. You're an amazing guy. I look forward to seeing what you're going to carve coming up, because you've only been at it a year and a half. So, sky's the limit for you, brother.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
I appreciate you taking time out to come in with us and share with us. And hopefully you'll continue to come on and share with us, down the road. So look forward to that.
I would love to come back on again when I know a bit better. Thank you for taking me as well.
Absolutely. Remind you all, next Saturday, we'll have James McCain come on, Eagles for Veterans. He's going to talk about his organization. So make sure you join us next Saturday. On the 16th of March, Lee Simpkins is going to be in. On the 23rd of March, Ray Meyer just showed up and signed up a few minutes ago. So Ray's going to come on. We're going to skip the 30th of March because of Easter. We'll go right into April the 6th. Rod Gatlin's going to come on. He's going to do a demonstration and talk about the Charlotte Wood Carving Show. So quite a bit coming up in the coming weeks. I'm going to be working on trying to get other presenters lined up. So make sure you check back with us, look on social media, and follow us on there so you can see what good things are going to be coming up with us sharing wood carving. So want to thank you all for joining us today. Jimmy, again, thank you for coming on. This has been the International Association of Wood Carvers, where wood carvers are helping wood carvers. Thank you all.
I am going to record now. We will start and do. We will do an intro.
Okay.
And simply, all we do is introduce who you are. You introduce who you are. You introduce where you're from. And then the big thing is saying, welcome to the IAWC.
International Association of Wood Carvers is
Yes.
Either way.
Either way.
Okay.
We're trying to shorten it to help people make. So yeah, we'll go whenever you're ready. So
Okay, no worries. Well,
you can do it as many times as you want.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
can do as many times as you want. So
Can I do it for the next hour and a half? Is that okay? Would that be all right? Is that be all
No,
right?
that's fine. We got time.
25 minutes. 25
Yeah,
minutes.
no worries. Hi, my name's Jim Nisbet. I'm also known as Jimmy Carves on Instagram. Welcome to the International Association of Wood Carvers. Thank you very much. No, that was terrible.
That was good.
It works.
I like that you're saying the International Association of Wood Carvers, especially since you're in the UK.
Well, indeed, I am in the UK. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in England, but don't tell Scottish people that; they'll get upset. Anyway, do you want to do another one, or are you happy with that?
Yeah, let's do another one just for fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.